Hello and welcome to Chronic Limelight. My name is Sally and I'm here to speak about finding peace and quiet joy and well-being within the midst of the experience of chronic Lyme disease, chronic fatigue and chronic pain. I made a commitment to myself and to you 13 days ago that I would start sitting for half an hour every day. I have kept up my commitment, and I'm really enjoying my 30 minutes. I find that I look forward to it. There's an upliftment that happens when I sit for those 30 minutes with my body in the quiet. It's quietly powerful and supportive of my intention of finding peace within the experience of ... And we have so much going on, whether it's pain and discomfort in our body or anxiety and strong emotions that are just occupying our minds. And to just take some time to sit with all that is giving me a separation from it all, as if a different part of me is being with it all. The part of me that isn't feeling that pain in my body or experiencing the emotions, she's not cutting them off, but she's kindly being with them. And I find that very nurturing and uplifting. I try to do it in the morning after breakfast, but sometimes my day gets busy and appointments or commitments, and it doesn't happen. And so then I'll do it later when I have a moment before starting dinner or in the afternoon. I've even been choosing to sit instead of taking an afternoon nap, and I find it's really good. It's like recharging my battery in a way that's quite different than taking a nap. It's actually more energizing and uplifting. So last week I said I would share that something beautiful opened for me. I think it was the third day that I sat with myself. I saw my interior like a house, and it just came very clearly laid out to me how it all works inside of me. So if you can imagine a house that is 3 levels, there's a main floor, an upper floor, and a basement. And on the main floor is the living room, kitchen, dining room. And that's where the familiar me hangs out. That's me, the one that registers all my physical symptoms, and the part of me that feels strong emotions. And these emotions could be misery or sadness or anger, and they can also be happiness. But they're what I call the big emotions, the strong, obvious emotions that occupy my emotional body, my mind, my feeling center. So I just saw all these parts of me as many different me's. So if you can imagine my living room just filled with different me's. So one me is, rubbing the parts of her body that's aching. The other me is lying on the couch just saying, I can't do anything today. I just need to rest. and she's just kind of defeated and blanked out. And then there's, a frustrated me pacing up and down the living room, muttering to herself, and it can be quite comical once you step away and just look at all these parts of ourselves, how they're just got all these things to say, and it's almost like a record playing, the miserable part of me that can wake up feeling heavy and filled with dread for the day because my body isn't feeling good again. That can be just like a stuck record. Like I'm thinking the same thing, I'm saying the same thing. There's nothing fresh or new there. It's just, okay, this is how I'm feeling again. And so I just saw them all as hanging out in the living room and the kitchen and the dining room, just occupying the main floor. And I call this my familiar self, the self that I'm most accustomed to living inside of, those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions. And some of them are hanging out in the kitchen. Some are cooking, very, very happy to be sticking to the diet and cooking the foods that are healthy for the body. And then there's another one that sneaks into the kitchen once in a while to steal a square of dark chocolate, or to make a cup of tea. And there's just all this busyness going on, and it's a little bit like watching a sitcom. And then my awareness goes to the upper level, and so I imagined myself just walking up the stairs, curious to see what's going on upstairs. And here in the upper level, I found a whole other happening. This is where creativity happens in me. So here the parts of me are busy creating. One of them is painting. One of them is writing in her journal. One is sitting meditating. One is talking with a friend in a way that's uplifting, and there's laughter and warmth and love. And so this is what I call a higher level of myself. A self that isn't occupied with strong and heavy emotions and not identifying with the body as much as the ones downstairs. There's some flow of energy that's able to be creative and also to be quiet and sit. So the part of me that sits for 30 minutes a day, she's up in that upper floor. And then I became aware of kind of like a penthouse above the upper floor. Perhaps it's an attic, but if it's an attic, it's a very beautiful one with skylights and lots of windows. And there I found a me, and there was only one of me, and she's just sitting in a very profound space of beingness. And there my body is very light. It's not as dense and heavy as it is on that main floor. And when I tuned in with that me, it feels like my cells are vibrating with chi and prana and life force. And I can almost feel that my body is made of light or space. And there's an incredible sense of peace, like peace that you would find in the Himalayan mountains where the Tibetans live. A quiet that's connected to something way bigger than my small experience. And my brain seems to be much bigger in this body. It's like a brain of connectivity that just goes out into the universe and connects with others. And so I still have a form, I still have a body, but perhaps I could call it the light body. And here I have a very different experience. And so there's those 3 levels. And then my curiosity took me down to the basement. And there in the basement, it's more dark. There's not so many windows. And there's parts of me that are the subconscious, unconscious, shadow self realm. Parts of me that function in a way that's been designed in my early childhood, and they're just on automatic, and they have all kinds of feelings. Some have deep wounds, pain from deep wounds, fear from traumatic experiences. There's a child there, an inner child that has her own thoughts and feelings. And I just walk around there in the dark. Being down here doesn't feel so nice. It's quite uncomfortable going down here. It's a little bit scary because it's so unknown, and it feels like there could be ghosts in the closet that might jump out at me, and or parts of me that are just so sad or so miserable, and the misery and the sadness seems to be beyond me, because I can't connect those emotions to anything in my life actually. And so I start to have the awareness of my ancestors and the collective unconscious there. Having grown up in South Africa, I'm aware of the collective trauma, the collective pain that I carry because I grew up there. And I've had moments where I've glimpsed how carrying that collective trauma actually impacts my physical body. It's a piece. There's many pieces to the puzzle of having chronic illness. There's the physical component of the bacteria, the virus, and then there's the trauma component, and there's the psychological component, and there's the whole complexity of the human psyche and how that can impact our physicality. And so this realm of the basement, it's like the realm of the unknown influences, the hidden, secret, silent influences that we're not aware of. But by going down there and maybe opening one of the windows, or just to let a little bit of light in and invite some of those parts of me that are hiding in shadow to come out. And sometimes the parts that are in shadow are not just our fear and our pain, it can also be our light. Sometimes we cover up our light because we don't want to shine too bright, because maybe it's not accepted in the world, or it makes others uncomfortable, and so we put that part of ourselves away. And so I go down there and I open a window, let some light in, and just invite whatever parts of me that are ready to surface and come up to the main floor and maybe share what they're feeling. That's there also. as an invitation. And once I was in the basement and seeing all this unconscious, subconscious shadow realm and being with it for some time, then something else happened and the floor of the basement opened. And I went down into the ground under the house. And it was like going into the roots of the trees and into the dark, fertile soil. And next thing I found myself coming out. It doesn't make sense literally, but I came out of the underground space that was very yummy actually. It was like being an earthworm and just enjoying the nutrients and the rich nourishment of the earth. And there I found an underground stream where I could just drink clean water and wash my face and be cleaned. But I kept being drawn down and down and down until I fell right through the earth and out into black space. And there it was like being in the womb of the universe. It was just pitch black, but not a scary black, a nurtureful black. And here I couldn't find a body. I simply existed as awareness. You could say that I simply was. I didn't have a physical form on this level. And there was such a stillness, but the kind of stillness that is alive and pulsating with everything that the universe is made of. And from here I was able to move in this black matter. And I could take on different forms like shape-shifting and moving around in this black matter. And it was like as I moved as awareness through this black substance, taking on different forms, it was so playful, but also so deeply energizing. It was like in this space, I was just drinking the substance of the universe that I guess it's the matter that we're all made of. And from there, I couldn't even relate to a sick body. It was so clear that I am something other than my body. Because in this space, I didn't even have a body. I was simply me. And then I became aware of the house and all the levels of me that I had seen there. And then the momentum turned and it took me back up through the ground that I had come through, back into the basement. And as I came into the house, I just started to fill the house with this universal energy. It was like I flooded the basement with this warm substance of what I am. And it's like everything in the basement, all those parts of me just came to settle. And it was so okay that they are feeling what they're feeling. It's okay that they're still in shadow. It's okay that they might not be ready to come out. And there's also an invitation to come out if they want to. And so from there, I walked up the stairs to the main floor. And I just filled the room with the peace that I had found down in the womb of the universe. It was just like spreading black vapor that just permeated the whole house. And everything just started to settle a bit. All the talking just started to get a little quieter. There was just a sense of something else going on among all those parts of me. Suddenly they weren't so busy. And then at that moment, the me that was up in the attic, that me that has a subtle body, a light body, she came walking down the stairs. And with her came those parts of me that were in creativity. Some were younger parts of me from when I was a child, and some were older parts of me that have gained wisdom and qualities of knowledge, and they all came following her. And as soon as she stepped down from the stairs into the living room space, everything went quiet. All the parts of me that were jabbering about, oh, how painful the body is today, and how tired I feel, and how angry I am at so-and-so for saying that, and oh, how excited I am for that house we're going to look at tomorrow that maybe we'll buy. All these strong thoughts and feelings, they just came so quiet, and it's like every part of me turned to look at the me that came from the attic. And she had such a quality of wisdom and innocence. I should say I, because it's me. As that light body, I was innocence and wisdom combined, and humility. And I just stepped into the living room and looked around at all these parts of me with such love and kindness and understanding of their suffering. And I just sat down on the couch, and parts of me that were in the kitchen came into the living room, and we all just sat down together, and everything just went whew. And the parts of me that were still feeling body pain or fatigue, somehow the noise of it just quietened. And I was able to hold in my awareness all the parts of me. It might seem like some crazy bipolar schizophrenic person that I'm describing, but if you've done the internal family system work, you understand this way of looking at our psyche broken down into all the parts and the personalities. And so there I was, just holding the awareness of everywhere I had traveled, from the main floor up into the creative level, up into the higher self level, and down into the unconscious and the collective unconscious psyche, and then beyond into the cosmic me, the original me. And I was able to bring all those levels together in my awareness and just sit with it all. And the effect of that on my body and my mind was so soothing. And I'm really grateful for the perspective, because it's so easy for all of us to be stuck on that main level, and that's where we exist. And once in a while we'll go into a creative space, and once in a while maybe we'll touch into our higher self or our deeper self. Once in a while we will get taken aback by a thought or a feeling that just comes out of nowhere, and we realize something came out of the basement, something unexpected. So I find this bringing together of all the parts, the familiar self, the higher self, the deeper self, the unconscious self, just bringing it all together into one room, just for a moment, just for a few minutes even, is so powerful. To just acknowledge all the parts, be with all the parts, and let them all have a few minutes of quiet. They'll start jabbering again very quickly. That's how it goes. But I think the more we dip into this place of stillness, this place of quietude within the strong experience of being human, and particularly in this case, a human with a chronic illness, there's so much value in taking the time to be with it all in a way that brings quietude and peace. And for me, that is the most important level of healing. So I hope my sharing reaches you in some way. I continue to let the metaphor unfold in me as I see other parts and see where they are placed in my interior house. And I'm aware that there are still other rooms in my house that I haven't yet even explored. My house may be way bigger than I even know. But for now, that is enough for me to hold and explore and open up into. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you receive the invitation to sit for 30 minutes every day, simply sitting, and inviting a greater perspective into your experience. Bye for now.